Beautiful people, welcome back to The Overwhelmed Woman, a very snotty and hay fever filled overwhelmed woman, but we hit in spring cleaning time, car boot time and going to the skip time of year, and it prompted me to do a really quick video of what I consider to be what I endearingly call the clutter crimes, the top 10 clutter crimes of which I am guilty of every one. So if you never seem to quite get a handle on your clutter, this might be a little bit of the light bulb moment for you. So in no particular order, number one, car boot sales and charity shops. I love them, but often we go to a car boot sale ourselves, get rid of a load of stuff from our house, then mooch around the car boot, and the law of a bargain encourages us to buy a load of stuff we don't need and bring home, and that becomes clutter. So don't do that. Number two, that links to car boot sales and charities too, making money. It's easy, certainly when my daughter was little, I used to try to buy things to turn a little profit on, and there is a benefit in that, but if you have not got the physical space or the physical time to do it, then that can just be absolutely exhausting and kind of defeats the object. So I'm all for making a profit, but only if it's not at the detriment of your mental or physical well-being. Number three, storage. Often the law of a perfect Pinterest home where everything's all perfect in beautiful baskets leads us to buy all this beautiful storage instead of tackling the stuff in the first place. And before we know it, we've just hoarded more and more stuff. We've spent much more money on things we don't need and can't afford, and forget we've got in the first place, and shoved it all into beautiful storage. And then before you know it, we buy more storage, and the storage becomes part of the cluttered life too. Number four, procrastinating. It's easy to say if you're tired and rushed off your feet, but if you can just find even 5 minutes to sort out your underwear drawer or the area on your table where you open your mail and leave your keys, all those little chunks of time will eventually mount up, and there'll be a point in the future where you look back and realise how far you've come. Number five, buy one, get one free offers, and that links to number six, stockpiling. It's really easy to get drawn into buy one, get one frees, or the thought process of stockpiling, especially during COVID and as the prices for everything starts to get increase. And I can understand why people want to do that, but although it's not a judgment, but obviously that wasn't helpful during COVID, and some of us had no pasta and no toilet roll for a long time. But often we don't end up actually seeing a financial benefit in doing that, because we don't, unless we physically take the money that we would have spent on the second item at full price and squirrel it away somewhere, it just ends up being distributed into other financial spends that we have. So we don't necessarily see the financial benefit, and sometimes all that stuff that we get on buy one get one free deals or stockpiling, if that's your thing, can actually just become part of our cluttered lives too. Number seven, hand-me-downs by well-meaning family and friends. There's a huge benefit in it if you are genuinely going to use the stuff and it will serve a purpose and you've got the space for it. Whereas I used to accept everything that was offered to me. I would accept it whether I was ever going to use it, whether I had physically got the space for it. And honestly, goodness me, the years of my life that have been exhausted by stuff, trying to squirrel stuff around from one place to the next. So have a think about it. Do you really need those things that are being offered to you? Will you genuinely hand on heart use them? If not, let them go to someone who will and free up the space in your life. Number eight, guilt. We often do not let things go either because people have bought them for us, or perhaps we've bought things ourselves and we perceive them to have a financial benefit, or because they have been left to us or belong to someone that we've loved and lost. But it doesn't matter whether the things that we have in our house, how much we love them, how expensive they are, how sentimental they are. If they haven't physically got a space, if they're too big for the space that they're in, if they do not get used or are not loved, then they still potentially may be clutter all the same. So let them go, let the stuff go. you never need to hang on to it. It will never sustain you. And actually, for what it's worth, if it's connecting you to someone that you've loved and lost, you don't need physical stuff to do that, because they will always be, that person will always be in your heart, and you'll always be connected to them. Whenever you close your eyes, they're there. So let the stuff go. And number 9, keeping up with the Joneses. You know, I walk into our lovely neighbour's house. They have worked so hard and they deserve it. They've got a beautiful house, a gorgeous kitchen. I walk in there and go, oh God, I love this, I love this. But you know what? It's normal to want more things and strive for more things, but not at the detriment of stopping feeling gratitude for the things that you already have. Because believe you me, if you have got a roof over your head, if you can just about pay the bills and you've got food in your cupboard, you are rich beyond words. And all that need to keep up with the Joneses, to be perceived to be successful because of the physical stuff you can show to the world, will just leave you in competition, leave you dissatisfied, leave you potentially in clutter, and more than likely leave you in debt. And then finally, number 10, the fear of letting go. We often worry, we procrastinate, you know, we sit there and think, oh God, what if I let this go and then I realise I needed it? Well, there is always a chance that's going to happen. But actually, I would much rather the space than the stuff, the clarity than the clutter. And in over 20 years, there has only been one thing, hand on my heart, that I ever regret getting rid of. And that is the full-length wedding cape that I wore when I got married to my first husband, a Maid Marian type of thing in a very dark claret red. And now, in my capacity as a funeral and wedding celebrant, that would have been so perfect to wear when I do my hand fasting ceremonies. So that's the only thing in 20 years I wished I'd have kept. But anyway, I hope that little whistle stop 1 to 10 helps. Remember, if you are overwhelmed, you're not alone. We're all overwhelmed together, just doing the best we can. We all deserve to lead a clutter-free life physically and emotionally. And until next time, when hopefully I won't be so snotty, massive love to you as always. And now I'm going to get